Sahana vavatu Sahana bhunaktu Sahaviryam karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May the Lord protect us. May He nourish us. May we acquire the capacity to study and understand the scriptures. May our study be brilliant, and may we not cavil with each other. Om, peace, peace, peace unto us all. Dear brothers and sisters, loving Sai Ram to all of you. We welcome all of you for the online satsang of the Sri Sathya Sai Baba Center of Arcadia. Now we are doing the study circle on the great sacred scripture, Brahma Sutras. And this is the commentary by Swami in Sutra Vahini. So we are doing Sutra Vahini, and we are going to start today on Sutra 8. And as we said, there are scriptures always, Swami, even otherwise in spiritual life, three things are important: Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasam. That means we always listen to the scriptures, and then Mananam, contemplate. Just listening, going from one ear to another, Swami says, is no good. You need to retain, you need to do that. Mananam, contemplate. The more we contemplate, the inner meaning will be revealed to us. That is why Mananam is important. And the third, the most important, is Nididhyasana, putting into practice. That is why Swami said in Bhagavad Gita, there are 700 slokas. He gave the example in a matchbox, there are so many matchsticks. You don't need everything. So just one good matchstick to light up is enough. And you may have all the matchsticks which are wet, then no use. Similarly, one thing which we need to put in practice that will take us to the goal. That is why Nididhyasana. So in the scriptures, Upanishads are considered to be for Shravanam. You listen, because they are high truths. And then Brahma Sutras are supposed to be for Mananam, contemplation. And Bhagavad Gita, which kindly the Lord Sri Krishna gave to us, which is the essence of all scriptures and essence of the Upanishads, is Gita. And that is for Nididhyasana, daily practice, because it is for daily life. It is unique. All these Upanishads, they were given in the middle of forest, sitting underneath a tree, between the Guru and Shishya, or in the caves given. But where was Bhagavad Gita given? In the middle of the battlefield. There is a lesson for us. So Lord Krishna told Arjuna this secret of living in the middle of battlefield. Why in the middle of battlefield? Because Swami says it applies to all of us. Because we are all in the middle of battlefield. Not that we are in a war every day, but we are going to face challenges, so many. Individual level, our own health or situations or whatever it is, or it could be in the family challenges, or it could be the challenges at work, or in the challenges in the society, or in the organization. So this is always, whenever you encounter some resistance or challenges, it is the battlefield. And how to handle that in a way without being hurt up. That is the whole secret. That is the whole secret of Karma Yoga. So not do the best you can and leave the rest in God's hands. That is why somebody said, nice, there is a air condition, there's LG. They says, LG is let God in and let go the other things. So just we always let God in, let go your other attachments. That is the way for doing the action. So that is what this Sutra Vahini is. And last week we did the Sutra 7, we finished it. So that is important. We need to have connectivity. In the scriptures always, one is linked to the others. That is, it is a sequence of connection. That is beautiful. This great Rishi, Badarayana, when he wrote these sutras, so beautifully, so much logic. I can't believe in thousands of years ago, the Rishis, because they came from God. That is why they are called Apaurusheyas. That means not written by human being, but by the Lord himself revealed it. So last important 4 points I want to emphasize what we discussed last week. Number 1, this at least remember the names. Upadana Karana, Nimitta Karana. So at least Upadana Karana, Nimitta Karana. So we're making it easy for people, give the example. Upadana is clay. Say you have clay. From the clay, the parts are made. Nimitta Karana is potter. Or you can take the example of gold. That is Upadana Karana. And Nimitta Karana is goldsmith. So everything is some basic substance is there. And from that, this is somebody makes. But interestingly, in the creation, the Upadana and Nimitta happen to be the same. That is, God, the Brahman himself, became this universe and they became Jivis. There are 3 things we see in the world. We think God is separate and he created all this universe, which is, you see the plants, trees, mountains, rivers, lakes, and we see the animals, human beings. So we have seen these 3 things. But really everything came from God and everything is permeated by God. That is the whole reason. That is the Isha Vashyamedam Sarvam. So that is what we are seeing it differently. That is why in the last sutra itself he said, Sudarshana Kudarshana. We always think Sudarshana means Lord Krishna putting a chakram, Sudarshan chakram. That is it. Sudarshana, that means good vision, right vision. What is the right vision? Right vision is to be able to see only oneness. That is why Lord Krishna in chapter 13, Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga, very clearly says, you go back and see, Avibhaktancha Vibhakteshu. Anyone who sees diversity when there is only oneness is all ignorant, blind. That means we are all. Whenever you see, go on seeing differences on the name of nationality, culture, language, color, creed, so our economic status, intellectual status, any status, you try to see the difference, that means ignorance. So you should see that oneness. That is what we last week we talked about. That is why Lord Krishna says in Gita, who is a Pandita, who is a sub. This Pandita is not somebody who read Vedas, who didn't say who read the Shastras, Puranas. Pandita Samadarshanaha. It says, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Sunisaivasya Pakecha Pandita Samadarshana. Who is the one? The real Pandita is, he sees in a Brahmin, highly intellectual, accomplished man. He knows all scriptures, he knows all knowledge. Whether he is there, Brahmane, or you see a dog, or you see an elephant, because dog is small elephant. Or Sunichacha, the one who eats dog's meat. I didn't know those days people used to do dog meat. I thought now we hear that. So all of those people, for him is equal. Whereas we think, oh, elephant so great, dog is small, Brahmin means have something to respect, this guy is untouchable or this. So there is no real Pandita is the one who sees through all these upadhis. These are all called vestures. He sees the inner principle, like the electricity and all the gadgets we see, that is the one. So that is the second point we talked last time. You need to have Sudarshana. If you don't have that, you have Kudarshana. That means bad vision. So why we are having this? Because of our ego. There is another important point. Because of our ego and attachment. What is ahankara and mamakara? I am doing this. This is, hey, don't you know that I did? Most of us, this one pomp and exhibitionism. So that is what is the greatest obstacle to spirituality. Second is attachment. This is mine, this house, this family. So you should feel you are a trustee given by God. God gave you those things to enjoy, that is it. So these two are the greatest obstacles. And next thing to get rid of is likes and dislikes. Because of this, we like something, we don't like, right? In life, the whole morning to evening, you like some people, you don't like some people. You like certain food, you don't like certain food. You like certain areas, you don't like certain. These likes and dislikes, they are called in Sanskrit, raga, dvesha, are responsible for our misery and suffering. In life, you go on analyzing. Because something which you like, you get, you are happy. Something you don't like, you get it, you are unhappy. Something you like, you lose it, you're unhappy. Something you dislike, you get it, you're unhappy. So these likes and dislikes are the fundamental cause of our pain and suffering. That is why somebody says these Navagrahas, 9 planets are supposed to control our life. Swami says there are no 9 planets. There are only 2 planets. It is Raga and Dvesha, likes and dislikes. If you don't have them, there is no planets to bother you. So you're always happy. So if you have God's anugraha, all these grahas won't do anything. So that is another important point we emphasized last week. So now we'll go to the Sutra 8, which is Swapi Ayayat. So these are the 8th Brahma Sutra. So just please go ahead. Ram Chintamaneni is reading today.
Sairam. So we are reading chapter 8 on page number 38. So individual merges in the Universal Brahman. Swa Apyayat. Swa means in oneself, that is to say, in Brahman. Apyayat means since it merges. The two words tell us, since it is said that the individual soul, within parenthesis, Jivi, merges in Brahman during deep, dreamless sleep, the individual assumes its real nature, being, within parenthesis, Sat. Since the self attains the self, which is itself, it is then the Atma and nothing else. The Atma, which appeared as if enclosed in name and form, discards the name and form and merges in the universal Atma. The wave has merged in the ocean. It had become, so now it is just being, within parenthesis, Sat. Brahman, both eternal being and total awareness. The core of all Vedantic texts and teachings is the truths. Brahman is both the efficient and material cause of the cosmos, within parenthesis Jagat, which merges and emerges, Ga and Ja. Brahman is one and one only, so there is nothing in cosmos apart from Brahman without consciousness. There is nothing inert, within parenthesis Jada, and inactive. Brahman is, according to the scriptures and the Vedanta texts, not only being Sat, but also awareness, within parenthesis Chit. We continue?
You can stop here. Do you have any comments to make, Ram? Yeah. So here, the important is Swa. Swa means oneself. So oneself means not the little self. The whole thing is growing from the little self to the big self. The little self is this body, mind, intellect complex. And the big self, S capital, is the Atma. So the Swa refers to the Atmic awareness. So that is very important. So everything comes from that Swa, which is Atman, also called as Brahman. So that is the source of everything. That is what this Sutra says. Because the whole universe, what all exists is only these five. There's nothing else. What is that? Nama, Rupa, Sat, Chit, Ananda. This is all because Brahman himself became all these five. Nama, Rupa, Sat, Chit, Ananda. What is this Nama? All the names you see of anything. So many plants have different names, animals have different names, human beings have different names, even mountains have different names. Himalayas, Arunachala, Seychelles. Like everything has a name and everything has a form, Rupa. But these names and forms are not permanent. They're temporary. They're changing. So we all know we are here today. Some people live 30 years, 50, 70, 80, 100, gone. That's it. And some animals live only 5, 10, 15 years, dogs, then they're gone. And same thing, only things, good things. Some plants, I see, trees, they last quite a bit, like in sequoia and others. Something they last even up to 1,000 years or something like that, right? Some of them, they have long time. So they, and mountains for sure, even thousands of years. So, but even those things have to go. Finally, anything what comes in has to go. That is the nature. So anything with name and form, whether it is the human beings, animals, plants, and trees, and mountains, what's everything one day will go away. But then what doesn't go away is these three: Sat, Chit, Ananda, which is Sat is existence, knowledge, Chit is awareness, and then bliss, Ananda. So these three things will be there forever. That is why it is beautifully said, being, that means being is Sat, is lost in becoming. That means it became this creation. The being became all this creation we see. That is why it says, Lord, how did the creation came? Ekoham bahusyam. I'm only one, let me become many. So Lord by himself, one was getting bored. Says, let me become many. And that is the source of trouble. So one, it is fun for him, became many, but as they say, for cat it is fun to play, for the mouse it is chased, it is thing, because it is in ignorance. For God, is all divine play and divine sport. So if you also take part with him, hey, this is all divine play, then like watching a movie or watching the show, you also enjoy it. As Swami says, life is a game, play it. Our life is a dream, realize it. But you get entangled in that. That is why we go through all these ups and downs, roller coaster and suffering. So this being is lost in becoming. What is the solution? Again, the becoming has to go back into the being. That means from the ocean, the waves and all those come, they again merge back into the ocean. That is why we came from God. Naturally, we have to go back to God. There is one thing beauty about Vedanta. Everybody will be liberated, not like some people, theistic religion, Christianity, Judaism, or even some Indian, that you will go to the hell. And yes, temporary, but ultimately, because it came from God, you have to go back God. But whether you want to go after one lifetime, 10 lifetime, 100 lifetime, some people some people go to college, finish March, September. So you take 5 years, 4 years to finish, or take 7 years, 10 years. Similarly, some people like to repeat the life cycle so many times. Then if you are ready, is okay to go through this pain each. That is why Lord Buddha said, Anityam Asukam. Don't just finish it off. Just know the truth and be yet for all. That is one important message. So you need to know Sat, Chit, Ananda. Everything is consciousness. We think something is living and non-living, it is okay. But there is nothing which is no consciousness, including a stone has consciousness. We have seen that in Ramayana, Bharata, trees weeping when Mother Sita died, and stones also responding to things. So it's all, we have seen, everything has consciousness. Consciousness may be dormant, sleepy in stone, or awake in the plants, and aware in the animals, and completely lightened in the great saints and sages. But it is there. So our focus in spirituality is take the focus, name and form, to this Satchidananda. That is it. So that is why he says, The whole cause is Brahman. This whole cosmos, Jagat. Jagat means comes and goes. It comes creation, goes back. Like beautiful example they say is a spider. What happens? Spider, there's nothing. Suddenly from its saliva there comes all the web around it. Again it eats it, goes back into that. Similar is the example of creation. It comes out, it goes back. So that is called Mahapralaya. So he's only one, and that is the whole thing we need to revenge. Even here, Swami said the wave has merged in the ocean. So once it is, that is called Atyantika Pralayam. So everything, the whole cycle, the world into over cycle of times, that is why we have these 4 yugas. So after many cycles, it goes. But every day we go through that. When you go to sleep, do you know what happens? That for that the whole world has disappeared. During that time, you don't know. You are in a different world, or it may be no world, even a deep sleep. So every day it happens. But when you have moksha, liberation, once for all, it is gone. No more coming back cycle of births and deaths. So these are the very 2 important concepts in this thing. And another thing is swadharma. Whenever you talk of swadharma, what do we understand? Our duty. What is our duty? So we think about, if you are a professional, you are an IT guy, you do the IT work. Doctor, you go and treat the patients. Lawyer, you go and take care of the clients. Businessman, business. So that is your swadharma. But don't try to imitate other people. As Swami gave a beautiful example. One time, this dhobi guy in India, they know this, they beat up and they clean the clothes, wash the clothes. In the village, they go there, and then when he was drying the clothes, then they have to put in the water. Next time, there are some stones, they put the clothes and dry them up. They didn't have washers and dryers those times. So even now, some villages they do that, but those days they do that. So then this happens, some clothes which are being dried up, so then they were being taken away. So there is a dog which is supposed to bark when the thieves take away. So it was not doing the job. So then this donkey saw that, because donkey is the one, after finishing the clothes, it takes the load and takes it. It started making big noise because it was unhappy. It wanted to help the boss. This guy went on beating up. Why are you making so much noise? It didn't, because that is not its dharma. Its dharma is to carry the clothes. Barking, and that is the dharma of dog. So don't try to imitate the dharma of other people. Do your own, each one depending on our aptitude and inclination. That is why this system came, Shudra, Vaishya, Kshatriya, and Brahmin, because some people are good in entrepreneurs. They do business. They know how to make money. That is their business. They are so business. They may not be born in that family, but they have business attitude. Some people, they just can do some service to people, unskilled labor. They don't want to bother, just do service to people, simple service, which is also noble. And there are some people who are warriors, who are ready to fight, like in the army. And there are people who are great thinkers. They always think, they give great advice. That's great ministers and people, Vedic scholars. So depending upon one's aptitude, it is not one is great or less, but do what is natural to you. That is Swadharma. But Swami told the highest explanation of Swadharma. Swadharma is really Atma Dharma. What is the nature of fire? It is to burn. What is the nature of Vayu, the wind? It is to have touch. So similarly, our human nature, the ultimate nature is Atma. Real Swadharma is Atma Dharma. That is why Lord Krishna says in Gita 18th chapter, Moksha Sannyas Yoga, Sloka 47, read that. Cheyo hi sadharman, paradharma vigunaha. It is better to do even not great your own dharma rather than imitate the dharma of other people. This is the importance of Swa, Dharma, Brahman, and Sat and Chit. These are the 3 very important concepts, very deep philosophical concepts, but very important. Sai Ram will continue next